for our first session when we recorded Robin Williams, we went up to Skywalker Sound in Marin County, and John and Ron had written the character as archetypes. Okay, he's a game show host, he's an evangelist, he's a this, he's a that. Robin gets in front of the mic, and out comes all the celebrity impressions, which we didn't expect nor ask for. And, aside from having to scrape us up off the floor with a spatula because we've been too busy laughing, we looked at each other and said, we can't not use this stuff. This has to be in the movie. So I made one terrible mistake during that particular session, which is that John and Ron said, hey, you want to be on the stage while Robin puts down his first take, and you can look at his face and his body mannerisms and incorporate some of that in the animation? I said, great. Big mistake. Because there I am, like 3 feet from Robin Williams, and he doesn't take a break for a long time. So I'm sitting there, creased up, trying not to laugh, otherwise I'm going to kill the recording. So finally, after about half an hour's time, he takes a break, and I go, okay, I'm going behind the glass now. But he just was so wonderful and gave us so much material. And Robin's humor kind of allowed us to do a variety of different things visually, because he was so improvisational, verbally. It kind of allowed us to riff visually as well. So, for example, when he's talking about the royal recipes to make Aladdin a prince, one of them is, he goes, Alaskan king crab, so we put Sebastian on his finger, and Alan Menken, doing the scoring, also added a little joke on top of that, because you can hear a little riff of Under the Sea behind it going, so it's kind of jokes on top of jokes. One of the things in the Prince Ali number that Robin riffed was, the parade commentators, as if they were, parade commentators at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York. So we thought it would be funny to dress them in parkas and stand them in the middle of hot, sun-drenched desert and have steam coming out of their mouths. And it just gave us that license to do it. When we animated Friend Like Me, the Genie song, they took it to a preview audience, and one of the executives, I won't name him, but you'll probably know who he is, comes back and says, guys, we're not getting any applause at the end of Friend Like Me. You got to do something. So I put an applause sign on his back, and and it stayed in the movie. And I think that's the amazing thing, is that the stuff we thought was funny stayed in the movie. And Robin knew that we were working on a kind of a wavelength thing, which was great. He could do something, and he knew as animators we'd pick up on it. So the most famous one is probably when he decided to, not believe that Aladdin was going to use his third wish to set him free. And he riffed, yeah, right. Boo-whoop. And John and Ron didn't know what boo-whoop was. Well, boo-whoop was his shorthand for Pinocchio's nose growing. He's telling a lie. So I asked John and Ron, hey, can I turn his head into Pinocchio, please? We own the character. And it got in the movie. And if there's anything that I can say, is this was probably the most improvisational animation film I've ever worked on, because we're constantly shifting to accommodate, all the different twists and turns that people like Robin gave us. And my God, he gave us so much material. I mean, he did about four hours sessions, and and he's not what you would think. He does not bounce off the walls all the time. He's actually quite quiet. You can watch him eating a sandwich, and you can see the mental Rolodex filing for future use. And but then when the mic is opened, he gives it 198%, and it all comes out. And the amazing thing is that he could channel all of those riffs through the needs of the story and through the character, not to mention the enormous warmth that he brought to the character as well. So eventually, we got this guy on screen, And this guy, wait a minute, I don't recognize that. That's not from the film. Okay, so, like I said, Robin gave us lots of material. And John and Ron and I wanted to use it for years and years and years and years. So we finally got our chance on the Blu-ray as a tribute to Robin. I sat and listened to all 16 hours of material, plucked what I thought were the funniest takes, storyboarded them, that's what these are, and there is a section on the Blu-ray called the Genie's Outtakes. And, you know, it's really great because it so showcases Robin's genius. You know, he was so brilliant. One of the things that we had wanted to do, here's another one, he's kind of a punch-drunk prize fighter at one point, and he's lots of other things as well, as you'll see when you see this sequence. The fact of the matter is that when we first approached doing this sequence, years ago, John and Ron and I had the idea, let's make it a piece where the Genie is actually auditioning for the role of Genie at Walt Disney Animation. And that way we could use all the outtakes. And I had a story reel built and all that kind of stuff. But for some reason, that didn't fly. And that was back in 2003. So flash forward to 2015. And we bring the idea up again with David Jessen at Home Entertainment, and he likes it. John and Ron mention it to John Lasseter. He likes it. But he says, don't do the audition thing. Make it actual outtakes. And we thought about it, and we said, yeah, okay, that works. And one reason it works so well, and unfortunately I can't play any of it for you right now, but when you see it, you'll see what I mean. One really huge part of Robin's genius was that the riffs he did often were just on one line. He could take one line, like no substitutions, exchanges, or refunds, and he would do it like W.C. Fields, and he would do it like, 28 other characters. And we kind of picked and chose the ones that we felt were the most appropriate to be in the movie. But now you get to see many of them all play out in a row, just so you can see how fertile that mind was.